Moving on in the NL West, we're going to go to Colorado. Colorado last year, they had a Vegas win total set at 84 and a half. They only came up with 71 wins, massively underachieved from what the projections were from Vegas. Pathag says that they should have gotten 71 wins. We can see right now the Westgate has them at 73 and a half. Pacoda just got released at 77. Sean, you've got them projected at 73, right where their current number is. So you would think that there's no value on this team whatsoever. And how much of that value is actually tied into Nolan Arenado, who has one of the craziest home road splits and offensive, stats that I've seen since, maybe Larry Walker was playing there, or maybe some of the other former Rockies were playing in Coors Field. I just don't think he has any value, if he gets traded out of here. Well, he has value. I take that back. He doesn't have as much value or near as much value as the offensive numbers that he puts up when he plays in Coors.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, a lot of his value is tied up in defense as well. He's a fantastic two-way player. Said on the AL pod, I think Chapman's a better defender than him, and the numbers back it up. But Arenado's story, that's an incredible left side of the infield, arguably as good as anyone. Discussed Cleveland the other day. That probably rivals them with Lindor and Ramirez. So they didn't really add anything this offseason. And by didn't really add anything, I mean they only made minor league signings. Ubaldo Jimenez is back in their minor league, so that's fun. Hopefully he gets a spot start back in the majors and we get some nostalgia with this Cy Young year. But they didn't lose anything substantial either. So this is pretty much the same team that they had last year, just with maybe some young players added to the roster. David Dahl played the most games that he's ever played last year, continued to develop. Ryan McMahon continued to develop at second base. Their lineup has potential. They have a lot of guys who can hit, a lot of guys with good hit tools. They've just continued to invest first-round picks in their pitching department and had a rotation, I believe, full of first-round picks the past couple of years, and nothing has panned out. John Gray had a good year last year. Marquez can bounce back. His peripherals suggest that he can. But Kyle Freeland fell off the absolute face of the earth. So getting guys like that at the bottom of their rotation back healthy and back performing is key to them doing anything. They have a lot of money tied up in Arenado and Charlie Blackmon. They can't really upgrade their roster. Their bullpen's not fantastic. So, they're really relying on breakouts from guys like Sam Hilliard or Garrett Hampson to bring them to the next level.
Yeah, and I know that that David Dahl had a major back injury and came back from that, and so he's finally playing enough games and producing like you would expect from a Rockies outfielder. Kyle Freeland was money 2 years ago. You could back him with your money every time he took the mound, and that just didn't show up at all last year. So, we're expecting Colorado. Pacoda is really high on these guys at 77, and I think a lot of that has to do with the offense and Charlie Blackmon still being there. I have to wonder, if they're going to be sellers at the deadline or if this is a team that's going to be 6 games out and still think that they can get into the wild card race. Do you have any feel on whether they're going to be buyers or sellers no matter what their standings are?
It seems based on the way the Arenado conversation has trended that they want to be sellers. But then the owner comes out and says that they're going to win 95 games or 97 games. And who really knows? They certainly should be sellers compared to how the rest of the division is stacking up. Well, we haven't talked about the Padres yet, but the Padres and D-backs clearly seem like they're ahead of them. I just don't know what pieces they have that they could sell off that are so viable or that are so interesting other than Arenado. And Arenado has a huge contract attached to him. Charlie Blackmon has a huge contract attached to him. They're not going to be able to move him. Daniel Murphy hasn't hit well since his microfracture knee surgery. So I don't really know what pieces they have that are so valued other than potentially Gray or Marquez moving them out of Colorado. So really the Rockies are kind of in a tough spot here for the next few years while they have all this money tied up in those two big guys.